Welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. With me now, I have head wrestling coach Dylan Cottrell. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, man, happy to be back.
All right, Coach, this past week you had Senior Day on Friday night. You beat Salem and Davison Elkins. Like I mentioned, Senior Day, so you got to honor some seniors who got to get some wins the last time competing here. A few freshmen got a little bit of a run, and just your thoughts on how the senior night went.
Yeah, I was really excited with a lot of the individual efforts, and obviously it's always good to get 2 wins and really head into regional time with a little bit of momentum. I think we're in a good place and getting everybody kind of situated on who we're going to have going and what weights and everything else. And so, I was, Brady Lehman gets a big win on his senior night. Cam Fentress does as well. Devin Easton gets two big wins on his senior night, and one of them being pretty poetic in the way that he finished off his last match. And that move, they kind of call it a Kobe, but it's a dresser dump. If I remember back right, Devin Easton, his freshman year here, I think his first 8 matches or 9 matches, he pinned all 9 of his first 9 college guys ever as a starter with that move. And so it's just pretty funny. Our team and a lot of the older guys who had been here were all like, that's a perfect ending for his career. And, at 41, Brooks looked good with 2 wins and is really rounded into form. And you have freshmen step in at 49 and goes out there underweight and tries to perform and, happy about what he's done this year and excited for the future for Malachi. And, Guy looks really good in his match, probably the best he's looked all year, really pushing the pace. And, Wiley and Lorenzo, both seniors, go out there and Lorenzo gets 2 wins, wrestling up at 74 against Davison Elkins. Really hard-fought win against a pretty good wrestler in Galassi. And then gets a win at 65 as well. And then Wiley goes out there. And so, that one's been a really good battle between 2 seniors, and you hate to have to pick one over the other there for a regional weekend. But, it kind of is what it is in that situation. It's a good problem to have for us. And we have it in a couple weight classes. And then 74, Zach Holston wrestled 1 and looked really well in that one, went out there and scored points. Pummel wrestling up a weight class again. He's going to be going down, him and Hammett both. And so he looked good at 84. And then 97 was, really, really great in the Salem duel. You have a freshman going in there. I think he weighed in 177 pounds, wrestling 197, so giving up 20 pounds. He had wrestled that Salem guy earlier in the year. I'm pretty sure it was our scrimmage, so literally the very first thing that we did, and maybe lost to him by 9 or 10 points. Lost pretty bad, right? And then turns it around, wins by 3. Looked really good. Got a little tired at the end. But, that's expected of someone who hasn't been in the lineup at all. It looked really, really good for 2 periods. And, it just shows our freshmen here, I don't know if they realize how much better they're getting because they're getting beat up a lot because there's so many good guys in the room, right? But for them, hopefully little matches like that can kind of light a fire and they can see, wow, okay, right, that's a long way that I've come in a year, right, of just being in this room. And the wrestling's a crazy sport because to get better, you got to get beat up, right? And that kind of sucks because that can turn you off on the sport. That makes it really tough. It's never fun to, if they told us that every day we had to go and work and get our butt kicked, I don't know how much we'd come back, and so that's kind of what's expected of them. And they're doing great, man. I really love this freshman class, and they didn't have as many accolades as other classes that we brought in of freshmen, but man, they've put their head down and worked and got better, and it's been fun to watch. And then heavyweight, you have the last 2 seniors, Casto going out there and getting a win, looking really good and tuned up, and then Devin going out there and winning against Cordell Todd, one of our old wrestlers as well. So that was kind of a cool match. Both of those guys are seniors, and so really happy with everything with Devin Gaulding's life that had went on with the fire and all that he got to go out there and compete, and some of his family got to come, and he got to win on a senior night. So a lot of cool stuff, and with Wiley and Galden and Easton and Brady and Cam, all those guys that have been here for multiple years. Just getting to go out at home the right way. So really enjoyed senior night and excited for, this weekend with regionals.
And you mentioned the regionals. You'll be at the Super Region 3 Championship at Tiffin. There's 12 total teams, including the Pioneers. You advanced 5 to nationals last year. How do you feel your guys match up with the field this year?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I'd be lying if I, said that I don't think if we go up there and wrestle really well that we couldn't take 10. Is it a challenge? For sure, right? On paper, I think we're supposed to take 8, right? That's on paper. I would be very happy with 8. I'd be ecstatic with 10, right? It is what it is. The regional tournament, for whatever reason, in postseason, a lot of upsets happen, right? And some crazy stuff happened before with injuries, other places. You hope it's not your team and just whatever. Last year, a kid missed weight. And so, you're hoping those bad moments that are going to happen don't happen to your team. I think a lot of guys go up there and they wrestle really tight because something is on the line now.
They're afraid almost, in a
right?
sense,
Yeah, they get anxiety, and instead of worrying about competing, right? Like for our guys, we're going to be preaching, man. You can't worry about wins and losses today. You got to be ready to fight, right? Like you got to want to fight more than you want to win today, right? And I know that's a little counterproductive because we want to win, but it's more so than wanting to win is not wanting to lose, right? We got to want to fight more than we don't want to lose, right? And so. Because it just puts you in a weird mindset, right? And then you're okay with winning a match 4-3 if you're like that instead of going out there and working to get that last takedown and win 7-3. And so we're going to really preach to our guys like we always do about, continuing to score points and to use it as your advantage because there's going to be people that wrestle tight up there this weekend. And if you go and are wrestling loose and just having fun and looking to score points, you might get up on someone big enough by the end of period 1 that it's too late for them to come back maybe when they get their senses and it's like, hey, I'm in a wrestling match here, right? I can't just squeak through this thing. And so, yeah, we're going to use that and hopefully like we usually do, we wrestle, we have consistently wrestled our best when it comes postseason time. And so, last year it was a 3-team race with us, Ashland, and West Liberty, and we were winning, leading a lot of the day and, just didn't really have the horses win in the finals to win it, and Ashland ends up winning it. And this year I think it's a 3-team race again. I think it's us, Grand Valley State, and Tiffin. 4. I should say 4. West Liberty's, I don't know why, they just kind of left my brain there for a second. West Liberty's tough too, right? And to be honest, if they put together some things, they can be in there, right? The team I'm probably the most worried about is probably Grand Valley, just on what they can do individuals. They got some really good individuals where they could put a lot in the finals. But Tiffin, West Liberty, and even Ashland, because Ashland's coached so well. They got a really good team too, don't get me wrong. I think they got a little bit more that could go wrong for them, but that's all paper talk, right? But those 5, I guess, teams, right? Like it's a lot more wide open this year than it was last year, in my opinion, right? Like Tiffin's well coached. They got really good wrestlers. Grand Valley has really good potential for a tournament team with high-end power. A couple more holes, right, than they'd probably like to. Ashland's very consistent, right, across pretty good dual team. Could probably use a little bit more high-end power, but they could get it with some upsets. And then West Liberty's kind of all over the place, right? And, I think we are a little all over the place too. And so it's going to be interesting, right? Like it's definitely going to be on which team wrestles their best on that day. It's not just, I don't think there's just a clear favorite. On paper, it's us, right? But if we don't wrestle well and someone else does, we're not going to win that tournament. It's just simple, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's close enough that's the truth. If we go up there and wrestle mediocre and one of those 4 teams have a lights out day, they're going to win the tournament, right? And so we got to be ready to go. And what that entails is just having fun, right? Going out there, wrestling how we have all year, not being tight because, I'm thinking, well, I got to get third, right? I got to get in the top 3 to go to the nationals. Like, you can't be thinking about that stuff. It's just got to be whoever's next in the bracket. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to enjoy the fight and score as many points as I possibly can and just wrestle through the next position. If we do that, our results will go really well. And I think there's a good shot that, next week, hopefully we're talking about a regional title and hopefully that more so on that 8 to 10 number rather than, a low end 3 to 5. And so hopefully that's not where we're at, and we're more on the top end, and it's a good weekend.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've head men's basketball coach Bob Bolen. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Hey, glad to be here this morning, Jagger.
All right, Coach, this past week you went 1-1. Started out the week at West Liberty. They've been really hot as of late. They're number 8 in the country. Up at half, got beat 106-89. They just really turned it on in the second half. I believe they scored 52 or 62 in that second half. Just your thoughts on that game.
Well, it was 62, and I thought we had a great first half, really shared the basketball, and we hit open shots. And then the second half, they weren't falling, and we had a couple of live ball turnovers against that press, and that really gets West Liberty going. And, they're number 8 in the country for some reason, and they're just so well coached and play so hard the entire game. But, we're not far off from them.
And then now we bounced back on Saturday with a big 80-69 win over Wheeling. It was on senior day. You trailed at half, but you outscored them by 15 in the second half. You had 4 reach double figures. Just your thoughts on that win.
Well, it's probably the first game all year, and we've talked about this as a team where we've been able to win and not shoot the ball well. And I just think that's important. I mean, we're 6 for 26 threes, so we didn't shoot it well, but we were able to execute, get shots close to the paint, draw fouls, and went to the free throw line and made our free throws. And it's just important at this time of year before you go into postseason, knowing that you can win without shooting well. And I thought that was a real important victory for us, to keep the fight alive for a bye.
And then you mentioned the postseason coming up. It's a big week coming up. You're 9-9 in the league right now, currently 6th. You're a game behind 5th, and you're a game ahead of 7th. So this week, really fully determines where you're going to be at in the standings. And you're going against 2 teams on the road that are top 4 in the league in Charleston and Concord. You've won 6 out of your last 8. What do you feel you guys got to do to ensure you finish out the regular season, strong this week?
Well, we're going against 2 teams that both have already beaten us at our place. But we feel that we're a much improved team, from November when we played Charleston. And we just have to go in there and play well. I really think this conference, and I tell our team this all the time, is about how we play. Because number 11 can beat you. There's just not a big gap between 11 and 1. There's a gap, but not a huge one. So, I think if we play well and make some threes, that we can beat anybody in the conference. Now, if we play poorly, we can lose to anybody in the conference. So it's a huge week for us. We really, obviously everybody wants to get that first round bye and not play that first night. And we're still in a fight for that. And, 15 and 11, and that helps to get a couple more wins. We just, we've improved since last season, and we want to keep going in that direction and be ready for the tournament.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Okay, Jagger, thank you.
Get ready to hit the road with GoMart. Each month, we're featuring a special item to fuel your journey and score you bonus reward points in our Road to Rewards promotion. Each purchase earns you a token, so load up and keep cruising toward big rewards. Plus, the top 25 token earners each month will receive 5,000 additional bonus reward points. Check the GoMart app to see this month's featured item, and as always, earn additional savings on products store-wide with reward member exclusives. Go to GoMart.com for more details.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coach Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've head acrobatics and tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, Coach, it was a big week last week for you. You got a try-meet win over Wheeling and number 9 Frostburg. It's the first ever nationally ranked win. You showed early, but quickly took the lead back in the second event. Just your thoughts on the wins, especially with one being a nationally ranked victory.
Definitely very proud of them. It was a big win for sure and very exciting for this program and this team. But I'll be honest, we had mistakes. That was not the meet I was looking for. But again, I'm happy. I'm proud of what we did, but I know that we can execute better than what we just put on the floor the other night. So with that being said, I feel like we're doing pretty well this season and in a pretty good spot.
And then now coming up, you got Limestone next Monday at home. They scored 265 in the first meet of the season, dropped down to about 246 in the last meet. You know what they've been able to score and what you all have been scoring this year. So does that change your preparation for them at all?
I'll be honest, I've watched both of their meets. They're a very, very clean team, and that's what I'm just trying to stress to my girls. Like, if we can execute and have the meet that I know we're capable of, I feel like we're going to put up a fight against Limestone. But if we execute like we did the other night against Frostburg, it might not go our way. So that's something that we're working on. Our nerves seem to be getting us when it comes to meets. We're making mistakes that we're not making in practice. So that's something that we're really trying to fix this week, and just understanding, like, put yourself in that pressure at practice. So when we're on the mat at a meet, it's not coming down to we're making those silly mistakes. And I mean, it's some events that we're very good at. So when I'm watching them out there on the mat, I'm like, okay, guys, what are we doing? Because we practiced the one event that we had a fall on so many times. And to watch them do that, I think that kind of set the tone early. And then just watching them sort of rally back from that is what I was most proud of at our Frostburg meet.
And so, Coach, we'll talk to you next week, and appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show, presented by GoMart. With me, I have head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for all you did this weekend. A lot of things going around and going on. In athletics, and you guys took care of our baseball game, so appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. Now, this weekend, you went 2-2. It was a split with Lock Haven. You started out day one. You got beat the first two games. It was 1-0 and 4-2. You struggled really just overall that day, just get the bats going. Just talk a little bit about that those first two games of the series.
Yeah, so we continue to pitch it really, really well, and that's gonna obviously a bright spot. We are pitching it better than we ever have in the history of our program. Right now, we've 52 innings pitched, give up 35 hits, only 21 earned runs, walked 28 guys, and struck out 58, and opponents are batting 194 against us. So that's really good. It's a really good way to start. Our guys are really buying into things and open-minded, and we have baseball IQ guys down there that are really working hard, and it's going to help us. So, and I know that what I'd like to see is that they're not, discouraged. I'm sure, you go out there and you have outings like our pitchers are having, and you don't get the offensive support. It's frustrating for sure. But our guys are supportive, and they understand that they see us working hard, and they know that we're going to continue to get better, and they know it's going to come around. We started kind of slow offensively early last year too, and ultimately, and honestly, that's just how I look at it. It comes down to me. I got to figure something out how to get us going a little quicker. I don't understand it, but we can sit here and complain about players all we want to, and what they're doing and what they're not doing, and not listening. But if obviously, it's all of us. So we got to meet halfway somewhere and figure some stuff out. And we talked a lot of one-on-one guys individually about some things, about some mental, about some approach, and I see it coming around. I saw a better approach on Sunday. But yeah, so great outing from Corn, great outing from Cole Grady. We were swinging stuff out of the zone, striking out too much. We got to be better there, and we will be better there. We'll be better. We normally don't swing at stuff out of the zone like that, but you'll have one or two guys in your lineup that will do that, but other guys will be there to pick them up. But it's weird, just like all 9 guys or pinch hitters, all 12 guys. It's just one of those days where it'll almost become like it's 2 guys and it's 3 guys and it's 5 guys, and then all of a sudden it's our whole lineup. Mm-hmm. Now we're pressing because we know. Here's the thing about our guys, though. They know that they're better than that, see? So then when you know that, then they go up there and they're trying to get it all back in one swing. Now they're swinging through stuff that they should hit because they're over-swinging. And then now all of a sudden they're mad about that. They're not going to miss this next pitch, and then it's a slider in the dirt. They swung over it, and they're walking back to the dugout. Frustration boils, and it just gets worse and worse. So what we have to do is learn to understand what is going on, what we've done, what we're doing wrong, what we need to look for, and then take it right there, and then take the next pitch as a win. We have to win the next pitch and the next pitch, because there's nothing you can do about the innings that have happened before, or your at-bat that happened before. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And you getting angry about it is not going to make you any better. So we talk about our stress curves a lot too. So some guys have to be a little bit more, I'll use the word angry, but it's really stress because there's positive stress too. If you're alert and stressed to a certain point, your optimal performance level, it'll go up, but too much, it goes down. So some of our guys, when they struggle, it goes too much up and it goes over the other side. Now we're swinging at balls out of the zone. So you can sit there and say, oh, you want to stop swinging at balls in the dirt, stop doing this, stop doing that. But if we don't really understand why we're doing that and what our mental approach and adjustment needs to be, then it's not going to get better. So we kind of spent Saturday night talking to guys on the phone, nothing about the swing mechanically, but just the approach of what we're looking for, used analogies, talked about the stress curve, and I thought it was better Sunday. Our guys understand what's going on, and they're going to work hard and continue to get better. So great outings again from our arms, like I said, on Saturday. I think it's good. We can take the positive out of struggling because it makes our hitters a little bit more alert, work a little bit harder, know it's not always going to come easy, and I'm proud of our guys for making adjustments and fighting back.
And you mentioned those struggles. It was a lot different day on Sunday. You went 14-3 in game one, 6-5 in a walk-off fashion to split the series. In that first game as well, it was a close one until the sixth inning. You scored 9 runs. In the second game, completely different as well. You're down 5-0 early. You chip away. Zach Bayer gets that clutch 2-out, 2 RBI single. And then Hunter Thomas, in the most unlikely fashion, walks it off with a bunt. Just talk about that day two, being able to come back, stay composed, and split the series.
Yeah, so day two, I saw the mentality coming in on Sunday, and we always want to talk about every day as opening day. Everybody gets excited when it's opening day. We talked about the conference tournament, how guys were bleaching their beards and their hair, and they're all this and that and excited to play. Well, why can't we do that every day? Mm-hmm. So why can't we have that same approach? It doesn't matter what we did the day before, so let's treat it opening day mentality. Don't even talk about it. I have to do it myself as well in my body language. Talk to guys. They come through there, and they had a good day. Farmer had another outing that was really good, really successful. He let one inning get away from a little bit there, but, we went to our bullpen, and our bullpen is doing their job as well. We're able to match up guys with hitters, and they're coming in and using their stuff. And we are also, let's see here, we're sixth, we're third in the nation right now in double plays. So that should give confidence to our bullpen as well. We get guys on base and just understand that you're 1 pitch away, 2 pitches away from getting out of it. In the second game on Sunday, we had to get our starter out of there early. Got in an early deficit of 5-0. What I'm most proud of is our guys just saw it in their face that they knew that we were okay. It's early enough where if we can get 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, start putting pressure on their bullpen because they were recycling arms. We were taking pitches a lot more than we normally would. We talk about playing offense offensively. We don't take a whole lot in a lot of situations, but in those situations we wanted to run his count up. He was having trouble throwing strikes, so that helped us get guys on base until we get the middle of the lineup up. And a huge credit to Luca Moore. He came in and threw, 4 1/3, I believe. 4 1/3.
Scoreless. And
held him scoreless. We wouldn't have been able to come back and win as easily, obviously, if he didn't come in and do that. So he threw 53 pitches over 4 2/3 and just did a remarkable job. A guy who came off of Tommy John, works super hard. He was on the plan on little things that we talk about doing on the field. He was doing, and just a remarkable performance. One of my favorite games to watch them play of all time, just because of our mentality and our approach offensively, and just seeing a guy who came off a surgery and some things in his life to go out there and be able to do that is amazing. So credit to our guys, and we're going to bounce off of that and continue our toughness, and we'll see what happens.
And you mentioned that you come up again at home this coming weekend with Mansfield. They had their opening series with Copier get postponed, so they actually opened the year up with MECFO Fairmont State lost 2 out of 3 there. Even in the losses, they showed they can score some runs. They scored 7, 9, and 14 runs in their games. Does that change anything for you at all, or does it stay with that, like you like to talk about, that nameless, faceless entity? What does that do for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Nameless, faceless entity. We've got to kind of just reflect and scout ourselves and see what we need to do to get better and build that into the practice plan. The things that we're doing well, continue to do it well, and talk about bounce back on adversity, things like that. We clean up ourselves, then we'll be fine because we're playing against the baseball. But their coach is a good guy. He's got West Virginia connections. He's been through here before. A good friend of mine. His team will play hard, and their pitching is usually pretty good. So we'll be excited to just get out and play again.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show presented by GoMart. With me, I've had softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, this past weekend you went 2-2. Started out the week with a big 24-3 win over Bluefield State. You had 2 different innings of 10 or more runs, had 4 home runs, 2 grand slams. What did you think of the offensive explosion you all had?
I think it was great. However, I think we did a really good job at being disciplined at the plate. We had a ton of walks that game, and to be honest, I don't think we're a team that walks much. We're very aggressive in the box, sometimes too aggressive. So we were really showing up with our discipline. That helped us out a lot. And then the key of the big hits was that they were timely big hits, So it ended up being a great game all in all offensively for us. Some things that we wanted to clean up defensively towards the end of the game, but yeah.
And then on the back half of the day, you faced Gannon, who was a preseason favorite in the PSAC NCAA tournament team last year. You lost 4-3. Felt on it early, but every time you guys felt like you were going to inch closer, they just were able to keep you guys at bay. Just your thoughts on that game.
I thought that was a great game all the way around. I thought Gannon played well. I thought we played well. We had some things that ended up biting us in the butt. Those things will iron out. And, that's why we play the good competition sooner in the year. We see where we stand. We see what we need to fix, what we need to hone in on. But all in all, I thought it was a great game, and I'm proud of our girls for that game.
And then on Monday, you faced Ashland and Bowie State. Lost 3-1 in Ashland, beat Bowie State 7-3. A little bit of an offensive struggle there against Ashland, but you had 12 hits, and Burdick struck out 10 against Bowie State, so you were able to bounce back. Just talk to me a little bit about that second day, losing the first game, but being able to bounce back.
That first game was a rough game for us. It's very rare that you have 1 through 12 not show up, and we had 1 through 12 not show up. And the girls know that. We talk about it. We revisit it all the time. But yeah, 17 fly ball outs, man. I mean, it just killed us. So we're definitely going to be working on that. But then they did bounce back well against Bowie. They came out hot. They were much better with their choices at the plate, with what they were swinging at. They were much more energized that game. The Ashland game was hard. That was hard to talk about after. That was hard to talk about after the day, all of that. But Bowie State, I am proud of the girls, how they came out there. I thought Kylie Burdick threw very well. And I want to give credit, too, to Andy Jo. I thought Andy Jo Howard really gave it her all. This was her first time really as a freshman being stretched thin. And you could see how much effort she gave into that as she threw this weekend.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.